Hello everyone, in this video we are going to solve worksheet 1 related to the first online lecture. So I'm going to start by the first exercise. In this exercise you are asked to solve the inequalities, and after solving you have to represent the solutions on an axis. So starting by the first one, and as I told you, just pretend that this inequality is an equation. So you have to expand normally, bring the variables to one side and the numbers to the other side. So starting by the first one, I have to multiply 7 by the term x minus 3, 2 by the term 4x minus 1, and 2 by the term 7 minus x. So this what you are going to get. 7x minus 21 minus 8x plus 2 is less than 14 minus 2x plus x minus 3. So after expanding, we have to bring the variables with the variable which is x to one side, to the left side, and the numbers to the right side. So 7x minus 8x, you have to bring minus 2x to this side, so it becomes plus 2x minus x. And 14 minus 3, you bring minus 21 to the right side, so it becomes plus 21 minus 2. After that, you have to gather them. So 7x minus 8x plus 2x minus x is 0x, because 7x minus 8x is minus x, plus 2x is x, and x minus x is 0x is less than 30. And you know this from last year, that 0x less than 30. So just pretend that you are going to put any value instead of x, 1, 2, 3. So multiplying those numbers by 0 will always get you 0. So is 0 is less than 30? Yes. So this inequality, it has many solutions, or in another word, all the real numbers are solutions for this inequality, because if you multiply 0 by any number, you are going to get 0, and 0 is every time less than 30. If, for example, you got 0x, I'm just pretending to make things clear, greater than 30, this is impossible. Why? Because it's impossible to multiply 0 by any number and get a value which is greater than 30. So this is impossible, while this is many solution, okay? The second one, we have 8 into 3x minus 5 minus 5 into 2x minus 8 is less than or equal 4 into 3x minus 1 plus 16. The same steps all over again. You have to expand them. After expanding, you have to put the x on one side and the numbers on the other side, and then put your solution on an axis. So you are going to get, as you see, 24x minus 40 minus 10x plus 40 is less than or equal 12x minus 4 plus 16. So now put the x's on one side. 24x minus 10x minus 12x less than minus 4 plus 16, because as you can see, minus 40 and plus 40, they cancel each other. Now you are going to get 2x is less than or equal to 12, then x is less than or equal to 6, and this is very easy to graph. You first put the axis, you put the 6, and I'm going to draw a complete circle. It's filled. Why? Because I have here or equal. So if you have or equal, the circle should be filled, and the arrow will go to the left side because x is less than 6. So the values of x are everything which is less than 6. Let us continue to the third exercise. We have 2x minus 3 squared less than 4x squared plus 2x minus 4. As I told you, you have to expand. When expanding, you can see that this is an identity, which is a minus b squared. So it's a squared minus 2ab plus b squared less than 4x squared plus 2x minus 4. So you expand, you are going to get 4x squared minus 12x plus 9 less than 4x squared plus 2x minus 4. You bring everything that has a variable to the left side and the numbers to the right side. The 4x squared minus 4x squared, they are going to cancel each other, and you are going to get minus 14x less than minus 13. This is a trick. Always remember, when you have minus 14x and you want to get rid of this minus, you have to multiply the whole inequality by minus. So when multiplying by minus, it will become 14x greater than 13. So pay attention that the symbol will be reversed. Okay, why? Because we multiply this inequality by minus, so we get x greater than 13 over 14. And you put the axis, you put the value 13 over 14, and you put an open circle. Why? Because we don't have or equal, and the arrow will go to the right side because x is greater than 13 over 14. And now the last exercise, we have 5x minus 1 over 4 minus 2x minus 1 over 3 is less than x minus 1 over 3. I always advise you, when you have a fraction, to make all the denominators common. So you do a common denominator for all the fractions. So you multiply the first fraction by 3 and the second fraction by 4. You multiply x, you just pretend that it's x over 1, so you have to multiply it by 12 because the common denominator of 4 and 3 is 12, and you multiply 1 over 3 by 4. So as you can see, we multiplied the first fraction by 3, the second fraction by 4, 12x over 12 minus 4 over 12. After making all the fractions have the same denominator, you can cross out the denominator from all of them. Why? Because it's common for all. So you cross them out and you are going to get 3 into 5x minus 1 minus 4 into 2x minus 1 less than 12x minus 4. And you do what we already did in exercise examples 1, 2, 3, where you expand and you put the axes together. So you expand them, as you can see, 15x minus 3 minus 8x plus 4 is less than 12x minus 4, and then you gather the variables together and the numbers together, as you can see. So we get minus 5x less than minus 5, and in this case you have to pay attention that we have to reverse. Why? Because I'm going to multiply the whole inequality by minus, so I'm going to get 5x greater than 1, and then x is greater than 1. So please pay attention to those when you have to multiply by minus to reverse the symbol. And you put an axis, you put 1, x is greater than 1, so it's an open circle that goes to the right. So that's everything about inequalities. Let us continue now to the second exercise. In this exercise, you have A, which is 25 over 4, B, which is 4 over 9, and C, which is 6. We have to evaluate to find the value of A, which is radical A. Radical A means radical 25 over 4. You can split without showing the steps, it's okay, because it's very easy to know that when you split the radical for 25 and 4, both of them are perfect squares, so it's 5 over 2. And now we have B, which is radical A minus radical B. Radical A, we already calculated it, which is 5 over 2, minus radical B, which is 4 over 9. So we have 5 over 2 minus radical 4 over 9. Radical 4 over 9, it's also very easy because both of them are perfect squares. So 5 over 9 minus 2 over 3. And this is very easy. We have to make them the same denominators, which is 6. So it becomes 15 over 6 minus 4 over 6, which is 11 over 6. Now we need to calculate C, which is 2 radical A plus 3 radical B plus radical C minus 2. Radical A and radical B, both of them, we already calculated them. Radical A is 5 over 2 multiplied by 2. Radical B, it's 2 over 3 multiplied by 3. And radical C minus 2. So you can solve it very easily. As you can see, it's 10 over 2 plus 6 over 3 plus radical 4. So it's 5 plus 2 plus 2, which is 9. Now we need to calculate d, which is radical a times b plus 4 radical c plus 3. Radical a times radical a times b, it's radical 25 over 4 times 4 over 9 plus 4 radical 6 plus 3. I'm going to cross out, in this one I'm going to cross out or to simplify 4 together, and will obtain radical 25 over 9 plus 4 radical 9, and radical 25 over 9 is 5 over 3 plus 4 times 3, so it's 5 over 3 plus 12, and I'm going to make a common denominator, so 5 over 3 plus 36 over 3, which is 41 over 3. Now let us go for question number 3. I have A, B, C, as you can see, and the first exercise, we need to show that C equals M radical 5, where M is a whole number to be determined. So this is very easy. You put C and you decompose 27. 27, it's 9 times 3, so 9, it's a perfect square. We get 3 outside and 3 will be inside. 3 times 2 is 6 radical 3 times 3 radical 6 times radical 10. And now you have to multiply the coefficients 6 and 3 together, and you put radical 3 times radical 6 times radical 10 under one radical, as you can see. So I will get 18 radical 180, and you decompose radical 180 using prime factorization if you want, or you can use the calculator. So it's 108 radical 5, so M in this case is 108 and C is 108 radical 5. In question number 2, you are asked to simplify A alone and B alone, then compare them. So A is radical 8 plus radical 18 plus radical 2. So radical 8 is 2 radical 2, radical 18 is 3 radical 2, and radical 2 is radical 2. So because they have the same radical, which is radical 2, as you can see in this one, so this is radical 2, this is radical 2, this is radical 2, so you can add the coefficients, so you are going to get 6 radical 2. The same thing I'm going to do in B. You just use the prime factorization or the calculator, it's okay. So B is 9 radical 3 plus 3 radical 3 minus 7 radical 3, so we are going to get 5 radical 3. So A is 6 radical 2, B is 5 radical 3. To compare them, you have to square both of them, because the only way to get rid of the radical is to do the squaring. So I'm going to square A, which is 6 radical 2 squared is 72, and I'm going to square B. So square both of them. This is 72 and this is 75, and you know that 75 is greater than 72, so B is greater than A. Now we need to show that radical a squared plus b squared minus 3 is an integer. If we go back to the previous part, we already calculated a squared and b squared. A squared was 72 and b squared is 75. So radical 72 plus 75 minus 3 is radical 144, which is 12, and 12 is an integer, so my answer is correct. Now we go to question number 3, which is or the second part. I need to calculate and reduce E and F. So I'm going to start first by E. E is very easy. You just do the prime factorization. So it's 4 radical 3 minus 6 radical 3. Of course, they have the same radical, so I can subtract them. It's equal to minus 2 radical 3. In F, you have many ways to solve it. You can put them under one radical and one fraction, and you can simplify each one alone. I simplified each one alone. So radical 98 is 7 radical 2, radical 25 is 5, radical 81 is 9, and radical 242 is 11 radical 2. And now I put them under one fraction. I simplify radical 2 and the answer is 63/55. If you put them under one radical and you simplify it, you are going to get the same answer. Just try it and you can see that you get the same answer as mine. So let us go to the last part where I need to rationalize the denominator of g and h. G is 3/radical 7, so I just multiply both terms by radical 7, so I get 3/7/7, and we are done. In h, I need to multiply by the conjugate of the denominator. The denominator is 3/5 minus 1, so I need to multiply by 3/5 plus 1, both terms. So as you can see, in the denominator, I will get a minus b into a plus b, which is a squared minus b squared. And I simplify or expand the numerator. I'm going to get 21 minus 19/5/44. And that's everything in this worksheet.